Happy Aloha Friday. Here we are, off on our way to Kansept. Actually, I'm on my way. Cart's busy, still working, so probably won't be training tonight, but whatever. So we had a good night last night. Of course, UFC and Kansept were both closed, so we were able to go visit our old friend Tang over at Underground Jiu-Jitsu, one of our old stomping grounds where when COVID hit, that was a place where we were at. We were able to train there, kept our jiu-jitsu going. I mean, it was a lifesaver for us. Probably heard it a couple of times on our channel talking about it, but it really was something that helped us continue on our jiu-jitsu journey. It was rough. It was a rough time. I mean, everybody went through COVID. I think about it sometimes about, how stores would be closed or limited access, curfew. I mean, it was kind of crazy. It was a crazy time. We were shut in. People couldn't go out. We actually got to work from home, so that, again, I think I talked about that too. But anyway, so last night was a good turnout at Underground. I think there were maybe 20-ish people or so. So I think they do Tang does instruction. I think between Tang and Tuan, they do technique, and then after that they open it up for rows. So had some good rows, back like the good old days. 4 or 5 groups going all at the same time with people on the side. We're just kind of going at it. So it was a good night. But kind of interesting thing, right? So I was kind of thinking about it, right? Even Cart was kind of telling me that over there, it's actually their night where they kind of have a little party, right? Thursdays. It used to be Wednesdays, but now it's Thursdays. They have food and people eat, and time to hang out, talk story, and enjoy each other's company. So the majority of the people were eating and having fellowship, and that's nice, right? But you could see the jiu-jitsu nerd people, right? The nuts, right? We were off on the side, still reviewing techniques. I was kind of thinking about that today, where I've heard a couple people talking about being good versus being great. Yeah, I mean, to get beyond the level of being good takes a lot of dedication, right? Sacrifice, determination. There's a lot of work that you need to put in to be great, right? I don't say it's not easy to get good, but enough effort in trying, you can get good. But that difference between being good and great, I think, is huge, right? It takes a lot of dedication, focus. So one of our teammates, Shayna, right? She's into it, right? I mean, it's kind of funny because I was telling Maya that we're going to train at Underground at Tang's place. He said, "Oh, can you invite Shayna, because she's going crazy because she has no place to train." So yeah, I had already invited her, but she was the one working techniques with Tanner, our other friend from Kauai. They were just drilling and practicing, and it's reminiscent of what we do after class. Like she and I will go over a technique, we'll drill it, we'll work it, we'll adjust it, we keep drilling it. So again, the difference between being good and great, right? You go to class, you roll. That's kind of, I would say, the minimum, but you go through those paces and you can get good. But if you really, really want to get good up to the level where you actually maybe even consider yourself great, there's a big investment, right? You're thinking about jiu-jitsu when you're not on the mat, when you're not in class, when you're driving in your car, you're listening to other people talk about jiu-jitsu, you're reviewing videos. If you're fortunate enough to have a professor send you input on what you should be working on and how you should be looking at things, there's some of the things that, like any other sport, right? Baseball, basketball, football, they don't just go to the team practice and think, okay, that's good enough, I'm going to be great, right? They're putting in extra time, they're cross-training, they're watching their diet, they're doing all kinds of those things to push them above to that next level, yeah. So jiu-jitsu is no different. It's not as a widespread sport as as the big three, but mean, I guess maybe big four with soccer, but it's getting there. You know, it's getting there. So you know, I think from the time I started 9 years ago to now, I think jiu-jitsu has grown a lot, and I think it's really growing. Right, it's going to get bigger and bigger. So there's people now that are doing it that are. We're not technically the pioneers, because the pioneers are the OG guys, right? They're way back then, but those are kind of a lot of less publicized, kind of, I don't say underground, but you know, not so much. Social media wasn't even around, right? So nobody knew a lot of that stuff. But now that social media is here, coverage, all kinds of news, streaming. I mean, jiu-jitsu is big, right? It's getting big. Even in Hawaii, I mean, now we have those 2 big events held each year. Fight to Win's coming up this Saturday. I think Submission Battlegrounds probably early next year. We're starting to get a slew of other tournaments. It just used to be Naga and Triple Crown, but now we have Fuji, Pacific Federation. When jiu-jitsu is growing, so I think it bodes well for those of the people that have invested time in it and could possibly see themselves having a career in it. Yeah. So one more story from last night. So I have another friend, right? She was traveling for a while, and I hadn't seen her in a little bit. So before she left, she's saying she's going to enter Naga. So I asked her, "Oh, are you entering Naga?" So she said, "Well, as of now I am." She said, "You know, I guess she was on a trip, and towards the tail end of her trip, she got, you know, some bad news." I didn't want to pry and ask her what it was. I could only kind of guess what it was, but she said, you know, it's kind of depressed and down and all that. So she came back, and I think she said, was it Wednesday? She said Wednesday, I really didn't feel like training, but she said, I kind of forced myself to go to training, and she said, oh, I felt 1,000 times better, right? So for a lot of people, right, jiu-jitsu is their outlet. I mean, you've built so many friendships and relationships. You can let your guard down, so to speak. You can just have fun. You can train. You can not worry about your problems. So she kind of agreed, yeah, that jiu-jitsu is really what helped her get over that, you know, that challenging news that she got. Yeah. So again, jiu-jitsu. I mean, there's another person that I train with that has told me jiu-jitsu has had a big impact on them in a difficult time of their life. So jiu-jitsu therapy, Brian, that's the name of his school. But I truly believe that jiu-jitsu is therapy, and it is therapeutic, and it can help you through very challenging times. And you know, don't underestimate the power of jiu-jitsu. Anyway, guys, that's it for me today. I'll catch you on the next one. See you later. Boss.